Standing at the apex of Gerzog's fortress with this giant Granfaloon platform that is, no bullshit, starting to list in one direction because so much of the front of it has been burned away with moonbeams and fire and such. And who has the highest passive perception here, and what is that?
It's Riot.
It's Riot, and it's 20.
20, okay. I wonder what it's like to run a campaign where, like, passive perception is actually, like, in the 13-14 range. That might be an interesting task one day as a DM. Riot.
Yeah.
At what point do you hop down off this platform?
Definitely after I'm finished casting the spell.
Okay. So you've given away all the healing and everything, yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would take a once over just to make sure we're not missing anything up here.
Yeah, Serenity was going to inspect the throne.
Okay. So the throne is made out of the same material as the rest of this platform, which is to say just the twisted metal lattice work of material taken from the infinite staircase and remade in this disc. And there's nothing affixing it. Like these things here on the side, these things are not actually here.
Yeah. So the floor of this tower is basically the same as the floor of the lattice work of the lower floors. It's just like a people floor here.
Right. The difference is the people aren't trapped inside this disc. It's just this large metal twisted disc just sitting on top of this mountain of flesh.
Oh, but this is not like a lattice work disc. It's just one big solid thing.
It's more solid than not. There are places where the overlapping isn't perfect. There are places where like the welding is coming apart, but it's more solid than not. And the throne is just an extension of that disc up in the middle.
Okay. Then, yeah, seeing that there's really nothing to see up here, Riot would climb down after she's finished the healing, which takes about a minute.
Okay. So the wand is wrapped up partially in the solution bag and then partially in Liberation. Was it a cloak?
His jacket.
His jacket. Okay.
So he's mainly in shirtless and bloody.
So who is carrying the tongue wand at this point?
Mahogany is still carrying the bag.
Okay.
Because he thinks that passing it off to someone is more dangerous than just holding
Riot.
it.
Yeah.
Scanning around, this mound of flesh that Mahogany has seared into, you see the corner of something hard poking out inside of this giant, horrible ball. It looks solid, but it's like covered in blood and bile and whatnot, so it's hard to tell what kind of material it is.
Riot calls over Liberation to see if, and points it out and says, "Can you detect magic there?"
Yeah, sure. He was in the middle of, trying to get Kelian's corpse to where it could be moved easier without tearing it apart.
And Kelian, I mean, it's already torn apart because he was killed by zombies. Yeah, Kelian's in bad shape.
He's super dead.
What you should do is cut him up into pieces and put him in the solution bag.
Okay, I'll climb back up and take a look at it and then turn on detect magic.
Down at floor level is where she is.
We get 30 imps named Kelian.
And the thing, whatever the object is radiating fairly strong abjuration magic.
And I'll relay that. So some kind of protection, I think.
I wonder what do you think is in there?
Could I do a quick planar sense over?
You'd have to come over here.
No, I was starting at the throne and then working my way down around the walls.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead and make that.
What does the object look like again?
All you can tell for now is it's not flesh, and it's just kind of poking out, like maybe the corner of something or the edge of something. You'd have to go in and dig it out, which will be horrible.
It's 13.
13?
Yeah.
You do sense a portal close by, but it's below you, and it's in this vicinity, and most likely it's the one you use to get up to this floor.
Okay. I'll point that out to the group.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and start digging that shiny thing out.
How are you doing that?
Violently.
Yeah.
I mean, like, what implements are you using?
Fists.
'Cause, I mean, you're going to be carving through human
Fists are
flesh
magical
here.
weapons.
Yeah, my fists are magical
Do
weapons.
you want a pair of hand axes?
Yeah, sure.
Take a pair of hand axes.
Yeah, I'll take some hand axes and then just start chopping through it.
You guys watch Liberation chop through this. It's the most horrible thing you've ever seen in a long list of already horrible things you've ever seen.
I think I'm just not going to watch it.
Go around to the side.
There's a little bit of therapy therapeutic feeling and catharsis to this too.
Mahogany's butchered worse.
What you unearth, or I guess unflesh, here looks like a large scroll case. Not quite as large as the rod that you have wrapped up in your jacket, but maybe 1.5 feet long. And it's fairly heavy. It's got some heft to it. Looks like it's made out of very nice wood. And you see inscriptions, just decorative inscriptions, not like words or anything, just decorative. It's been sculpted in places. And you also see along both sides of it, where there's a seam where the scroll case might open, a lot of damage. Someone has tried very hard to open this thing. You see slash marks, you see where it's been burned, you see where they've tried to crush it, and it has remained intact.
This
Kinda
seems
woods it made out
important.
of.
And you touch it with your bare hands, yes?
Yeah.
Okay. And you pull it out with your bare hands to no ill effect. See, Nodal, what the hell were you worried about?
How many pieces is Kelian in at this point?
One. I mean, there's
Okay.
quite a lot of his blood and stuff on the ground there.
Viscera.
Yeah.
Zombies have taken chunks out of him with their teeth.
I'll try a little bit of a twisting action, pulling action on the caps at the end.
And it looks like the wooden cap on the end should just either twist or pull off, but it doesn't. It stays closed.
Mahogany turns to Riot. He's like, "So how much? You're the cleric in the party. How much Kelian do we actually need here?"
As much as we can take. The more of them we have, I think the way resurrection works is if we
Right.
have the body, we're good. It's gonna close up the wounds and whatnot. There are harder, much harder, and I don't think we could actually do this. Ways to do it without the body, but we need to bring us back as much of the body as we can.
So we want the body. Got it.
We want the body.
So-
Serenity will take the stuff out of her pack, kind of distribute it among the group, and then work out a harness. One of the things she'll be carrying is Kelian and her maul.
Okay.
Yep, sounds good. And I was gathering Kelian's personal effects, so I could get him back to when we get him back up.
Keelan's going to be very unhappy about that. You took all of my stuff?
He's dead. He's not doing much of anything right now.
Yeah.
So now for the $64,000
Kelian.
question. How do you guys
Right.
get home?
Yeah. So, Serenity sends the portal here, right?
Right, but it
But
seems
it's
like it was a
labeled
one-way
us.
deal.
Theoretically, we could. Mahogany's looking over the edge. Like theoretically, could we put a rope down and go down the edge of the tower?
I mean, nothing theoretical about it. It would be... The difficult part was making sure the rope didn't get severed in transit on one of the sharp edges.
Yeah.
Okay, let me be clear here. I have to say theoretically, because otherwise you'll say Mahogany puts a rope down the edge of the tower and starts to slide his ass down.
Now, looking down the edge of the tower, you know... I mean, looking through the wall over to the edge was what I mean. You know the tower was not that tall while you were inside it. Like, each floor maybe 30, 40 feet. But looking through the lattice work in the side of the tower, side of the wall here, you're looking down hundreds and hundreds of feet.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be working with some spatial distortion for sure.
You're going to get some spatial distortion on the infinite staircase. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
The part of that it's going to be hard for Serenity to make it down and carrying Kelian.
Just throw him off.
So the first step is you'd have to make a hole in the wall large enough to get through. That's the first step.
Yeah.
We tie a rope around him and we just lower him down there. He's dead.
I'm not hearing a lot of respect for Kelian's corpse.
Yeah.
Mahogany has zero respect for Kelian's dead body because he's thinking we'll just bring him back.
Fair
I
enough.
want to see if we can figure this out first. Can I make a check on it, or did we already
Well,
have our one check?
She's sensing the portal you guys came through. That's the one that you put liberation in. It's on the floor below you. That's
Yeah.
the one she's sensing. But it was a one-way deal. You can't get back to it from here.
Oh, I see. I want to say there's got to be a way off here, but I feel like that's not actually true. You know?
Well, I mean, didn't what's his face say that Tanari were coming and going all the time?
Yeah, but they
Yeah.
can tell.
It would stand to reason that they'd come all the way up here to receive orders from Lumpy up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not even going to
You're
dignify
saying we
him
just
with
wait for a
addressing him by his
Tenari to
name.
come up here, and then we threaten it and get it to bring us back down?
No, I'm just saying it stands to reason that there would be a way back down.
Yeah.
For a Tenari, sure.
Well, Tenari can teleport without error, so.
And what happened when you tried the dimension door, right?
Nothing happened to me. I was fine. It was when I tried to dimension door somebody else out that there was that backlash.
Yeah, I guess if they're gonna have a portal going all the way up here, and even though they can teleport anyway, it stands to reason they would have a way to get back down. Because otherwise they just wouldn't have a portal.
Yeah, because they can only do that so much before they have to rest. Yeah.
Well, I don't fucking know.
Yeah, who knows? I'm gonna go over here and try and use portal sense.
Okay. And that's the only portal in the vicinity. There's not another one
Okay.
in the room. Somebody throw a whiz 10. Whoever thinks they can pass.
I can
probably
pass.
I'm only allowing one, my goodness.
Well, I'm rolling.
There's a 10.
It's a good thing he rolled first.
A 10?
Yeah. That's pretty cipher of me, eh?
The Tenari don't need portals to get back and forth through the tower, but their slaves, their minions, non-Tenari residents would need a way. It looks like this was a way to bring slaves to Gerzog without leaving them in means of egress, without letting them have a way to escape.
And judging by all the bodies here, that makes sense.
Yeah.
They didn't really need to leave.
So you said the floors are basically like just denser versions of the wall, or what?
The disc was a more solid version of it. The floors in the bottom floor here is just like the floors in the rest of the tower.
Okay.
They're more opaque because the bottom side of this floor is coated with the wacky Chasmy slime from the egg layers.
Were there any windows in this tower when we first?
No windows as such, but you can peer out in the lattice work through the gaps.
We don't
in
have
the
to
people.
climb the whole way down. We just have to climb, punch another hole through part way down.
We could also take a long rest here.
That's
And
pretty reasonable.
We could do that too.
And I've got if we do a long rest, I'm pretty sure I have enough dimension doors to get us all off this floor.
And if we take a rest, I could maybe open. I think I can open this thing.
Yeah, there's nothing I can do because there's literally 0 trees on the staircase.
Okay, so we're gonna take a long rest.
I can fly off, but who knows how that'll go.
Kelian, you do not get the benefits of the long rest. It'd be weird if
What
you did.
afterlife is Kelian then?
I mean, none yet. All right, no random encounters during
Give
the
me a
rest.
second to spend some hit dice.
It
Yeah, I'm gonna spend some hit dice too.
might be the most unpleasant long rest you ever had.
Yeah.
It's quiet,
about-
but it's I mean, it's not quiet. You got the moaning and horribleness.
Do we
of
not
this.
have a shelter?
Yeah, we can put up a tent. I can do that.
Oh, see, does that block out the sound?
Yeah,
It's a good question.
it at least blocks out
Blocks out something.
something.
It blocks out things trying to get into it.
Yeah.
Did I tell you guys about how I had Strahd try to screw them with their own tiny hut?
I think you've told the story before.
Remind me at the end of the session, because that's a good story. I'll tell it again.
Yeah.
It does say the atmosphere inside the space is comfortable and dry.
Okay, so I assumed that tiny hut did not block sound because then you couldn't hear things sneaking up outside of it.
Yeah,
yeah.
probably
Yeah.
not.
So you guys are in the tiny hut, comfortable, dry, but you have the moaning and wailing of the damned to keep you company.
Right.
It's okay, I got some earplugs.
That's right, you guys are carrying earplugs. And it's just a grim 8 hours. I mean, it's difficult to sleep. Just sitting there munching on Cube brand FUD with an
Kelian.
umlaut.
FUD with an umlaut. I love it.
Oh yeah, Mahogany's pretending to eat some while actually just eating a good berry.
Yeah.
And then after the rest, what happens?
All right.
Okay.
So Liberation's still got this this big scroll case.
Are you going to play with that during the rest?
No, after the rest.
Okay.
Actually, no, during the rest because I get key points back during a short rest.
Yeah, like an hour in.
Yeah, like an hour in, get my key points back.
Yep.
I'm going to spend 4 key points to cast Dispel Magic on the Abjuration effect.
What level does that get cast at?
It's a good question.
It's an excellent question.
It is. It's a very excellent question. I think I just copied all the text out of that thing, but then I'm gonna have to open up the book again just to be sure.
Well, just cast it at its base level then, unless your
Yeah,
class feature says otherwise.
Yeah,
Right,
it's gonna be at its base level.
Level 3 spell.
Yeah.
Yep.
Make your spellcasting modifier for what does it say your spellcasting mod is? Is it Wisdom is for a monk?
It's wisdom.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and make a Wisdom check. Roll high.
Oh,
Booyaka!
Can't roll higher than that. My
that was a journey.
You cast the
So-
spell and you hear, before anything happens, you hear the thing give way inside, and the wooden cap comes loose.
Fabulous, Liberation says as he unscrews the cap and then pops it off.
The most ridiculous thing, absolutely against the tone of this entire tower, happens next.
Mm-hmm.
You
Okay.
turn the cap, you take it off, and you hear a trumpet blare.
Ah.
An angelic choir.
And we all wake up and we're like, what?
Lights.
I got it open.
A silvery light emits from the edge of the open cap, and you hear a man's voice say, "Congratulations! You've stumbled upon my map."
What?
What?
And inside the scroll case is a large, rolled up, very thick parchment.
I'll pull that out and start unrolling it.
I want to be very clear here, Liberation. I'm very annoyed at you for waking me up again. I really like this map.
You unfurl the map. I mean, when it's unfurled, it takes up a goodly portion of the inside of your tiny hut. Because it's not Leomid's decent-sized hut, it's Leomid's tiny hut.
Yeah, so I kind of have to.
And you
drape it
unfurl the
over.
map, and the voice continues, and it says, "My name is Fred.
Hi, Fred.
I am the legendary bard who walked the infinite staircase alone. And at
He's an
the end of
asshole.
it, I built a house. I left this map behind so that others could find me."
Oh, good.
And he continues talking the entire time you're looking at the map. It's like,
I'm going to roll it back up.
when you roll it back up, the talking stops, the light quenches, and the angelic choir fades away.
I'm going to stuff it back into the.
All right, you found an
scroll
asshole
case.
piece of paper. We got it.
And Riot's over here thinking, like, that's the level of asshole bard I aspire to be someday.
She's like, God damn, if only I hadn't wasted that one level on cleric, I could be making talking maps.
Okay. Liberation smiles, claps his hand, dusts his hands off, and grins.
Because you looked at the map for a few moments before you rolled it back up.
Yeah.
Make I'll let one person make a wisdom check at advantage.
Liberation, you can go ahead again.
Okay.
I think my wisdom's higher than yours, but who cares? You found the map.
That's a 10.
It's a 10.
Yep.
2 features on the map before you rolled it back up that you know for sure. 1, all of the writing on the map uses a script that you can't read, but you identify as Elvish.
Okay.
And 2, the decorative border of the map was the various sigils of all of the factions of Sigil, repeated all around the sides and the corner of the map.
Curious.
And then you got
Wait
sick of
a
listening to the
second.
talk, and you roll it up and you put it back.
Wait a second here, Brick Road.
Yeah?
What does that sigil map that we use look like again?
It's not that. It's not a map of Sigil. It's a map of
okay,
some...
so I was gonna be like, that is a room with Elvish on the edges and some sigil factions.
No, it's a map of some kind of wilderness.
Okay.
Well, looks
But
like we
rather
found a way
than
to.
look at the
to,
map, he decided to roll it up.
We'll study it a little later when we're back at Sigil, I think.
So the long rest comes to a close, and you guys have a magic map and a very foul-smelling tower to escape.
Yep.
All right. Serenity. Well, let's do somebody else first, just to make sure see if this works or not. Who's feeling lucky?
I'm feeling lucky.
All right, Liberation, take my hand and let's roll the dice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cast Dimension Door, past the next floor down to the floor with the way that we can reach by stairs, like the highest floor of the lattice workplace. And we can just go the rest of the way by stairs.
Okay, and you blink him down to that level. I mean,
cool.
you're pretty familiar with the layout of the floors at this point, so I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
There's nothing really standing in your way.
All right, 1 of 6, and I go back up.
Okay.
Is he dead?
Is who dead?
Liberation.
Are you bringing me back, or are you leaving me there?
Why would no? I have to do this 3 times.
Oh.
I'm leaving you there.
Unfortunately, Kelian counts as an object right now.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the
come
good
with
part
us.
about this. So Serenity, you pick up Kelian.
I
We're
can't
off.
believe you're objectifying Kelian.
Yeah.
So this and this process continues until you guys get out of the tower.
Yeah, 6 casts.
Assuming you guys don't go out of your way to pick fights with any of the remaining zombies or anything,
No.
nothing else
Traskelian's
stands in
back.
your way.
He's back in Sigil, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we ditched his ass back on the tower.
We told him wait a couple of days, and if we don't come back, then he could send a rescue party through to scoop up our remains.
Yeah, again, Riot finishes the fairgrounds. Like, kind of starting to feel like a real fiend here.
So,
Hey. It's a weird
as we're
feeling,
all
ain't it?
outside of the tower, I'll just sort of look up at it. Mahogany? How do we destroy this thing?
The tower?
Yeah.
It'd probably be easier to just destroy the tower, the staircase that's under it.
That's what I was thinking.
Well, let's
Well-
see if we can save some people first.
Yeah, let's see if we can save people first.
Now, nothing's barring you from using the portal back to Sigil. That portal is not one way.
We know the key. It's all that.
Yeah.
So, are you going to deal with the tower first, or are you going to deal with Kelian first?
We're going to deal
I
with
say we-
Kelian first,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, no, Kelian. I was just.
Yeah,
There's-
I still say
destroying the place.
Here's
I
what
still
we're
say the best way to deal with this tower is we go back, get a bunch of bleakers, bring them back here, and say, "Hey, grab some people, enjoy.
Enjoy.
They're yours."
here's what I say we do. We go back to Sigil, tell Triskalia that Garazog is dealt with. He's gone. He's dead. And we tell him what we figured out about those locking mechanisms that are keeping those people trapped there. Say, hey, if you got some time, if you got some spells, break them free, get them back, get them to safety, without injuring them, which is nice.
Yeah, I'll give them. I'll also warn them against the way that we'll kill them.
I'll give you wholesale prices on some very low-level wizards that can cast knock.
Let's deal with. You guys are going to raise Kelian. Is that the idea?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
If
So,
Kelian
like-
wants to be raised.
Like I said during the break, I can foot the entire bill. I can foot the bill for the diamond needed to resurrect him. And can I also ask Father Mundo if he'd be willing to cast the spell?
He's not high enough level cleric.
Okay.
So this is. Let me get the Sigil map because I'm getting this tower is I'm tired of it. I'm so tired
Yeah.
of it. You have no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I missed a
Tired,
session. and I'm
tired
tired
looking
of
at
it.
it. Just. Yeah, Serenity
Yeah.
he wasn't even here for all of it. See, this
2.5
isn't Elvish. This
sessions.
is English. Dork.
Well,
Look at
there's a
this.
giant ring on the top, so you can see how I could be fooled.
No, there would be 3 rings. It was Elvish.
So
God dang. That was nerdy.
it's a kind of metagame for a second. 'Cause this is the first time you've had this situation where you had to raise somebody, but the person who's raising didn't have an ulterior motive they could piggyback onto you. This is something that your factions might be able to do. Not Liberation's faction, because it goes very much against their belief, and not Riot's faction, because she doesn't really have a faction.
Right.
The Transcendent Order, this is something that they might be able to do for you, or you might be able to appeal to Kelian's faction.
I mean, if we pay them.
Yeah, we're just
going
gonna pay them.
price if you just would hire somebody out of Sigil using no contacts or anything, would be in the vicinity of probably 1,500 gold. If you're going to appeal to a faction, we're going to make influence rolls to do that instead. So what avenue are we looking at to try to get Kelian revived?
Well, probably not the Doomguard.
Yeah.
Well, none of you are
Definitely not
members of the
Doomguard.
Doomguard. Your options are Transcendent Order or the Fated, basically.
Actually,
I've got-
how does Mahogany feel about appealing to any faction to do this? Now that he's had experience with like, would he assume that every faction that we appealed to do this would plant their own seed?
Mahogany's feeling is that it depends on the faction. Basically, the only sane way of doing this is to make healing Kelian be part of that faction. That's why he thinks the Takers are a good idea, because if we make a fair deal with them and pay them afterwards, he thinks we'll get our worth out of it.
Okay.
The main thing is I don't have any in with it.
I have a little bit.
All right. Let's see who actually has influence with the Fated.
I've got a 12 with them.
Go ahead and make that roll and lower the score to 11.
Okay. What is this? A D20 with like a +1?
It's a D20. You're making just a standard like proficiency roll, but you're using 12 as your ability score because that's your influence. So
Okay.
it's going to be plus.
But I do have my
plus
proficiency
1.
bonus.
Yes, add your proficiency bonus.
Okay. So it's +5. So an
Pretty good.
18.
Okay. Now, this question isn't going to alter the price or anything, but it might for role-playing purposes, because there are factions within the Fated. Some are pro-Kelian and some are not. So, like, is this something you're going to try to get from Darkwood or his underlings, like official faction stuff, or are you going to tap into that element of the Fated that you know is against Darkwood?
I'm definitely not going to tap into Darkwood's underlings.
Okay.
Because I don't feel like that would be a good idea at this point. Seeing how much Darkwood hates me personally.
Okay.
I guess it'd be the other one, the one I know disgruntled, but I would have to be careful not to tap into like my own personal Fated, who are not really Fated anymore. They're anarchists now.
Mhm.
Because I don't want them knowing that I can't do this.
Okay. Here's what he wants.
Mhm.
He'll do the spell for 900 gold. That covers the diamond he needs plus his fee for such a high level spell.
Mm-hmm.
In addition, he wants your word that Kelian will give him access to some measure of like information that he has inside the faction. Like, he wants some paperwork from Kelian's office. He wants your word that Kelian will honor that deal.
Kelian is he's like a ranking member of the Fate again, isn't he?
He's still a namer. He worked as a clerk in the court in the Hall of Records for a time, but
I couldn't remember if he took Darkwood's deal at the party or not.
he told Darkwood he did and then started actively working against it.
That's right.
So,
Then yeah, I will gladly make this deal on Keelan's behalf because like, what does Riot care?
all right, who's paying this fee?
I got it.
You got it? So go ahead and deduct
I've
900.
got rat hole savings for it.
And the next $64,000 question is, does Kelian want to be revived?
Yeah. Everyone went to so much trouble. I suppose it should probably pop back into existence.
So you wake up, partially eaten by zombies, and one of the first things you learn is that this priest inside of your faction, you owe him some measure of your like confidential information that you had access to as a clerk that he wants.
And Riot stresses like, now he doesn't know about the whole locksmith thing. That's not something you owe him. It's
Okay.
just your job stuff that you owe him.
I have a real headache. Okay.
Also, you owe Liberation 900 gold.
That's also probably true, yes.
Okay.
But welcome back, buddy.
Thanks.
Kelian, I'm sorry. I should have been closer to you in that fight.
Nah,
I normally
occupation
assume you can handle
hazard.
your own, but
It's fine.
Liberation.
And Riot shrugs and says, "Hey, sometimes they get through to the squishes, you know."
One other thing happens.
I'll pass you your personal effects as well. So there you go.
And Kelian obsessively looks through all of them and makes sure everything's there.
Liberation didn't steal anything. He's not like that.
Riot, Liberation, and Serenity.
Oh god, here it comes.
Yeah, here
The
goes
end
that
of the long rest. After you get back to Sigil and you're starting to go about your business, your eyes function less and less over the course of the next day or so. At the end of the second day, before you take your second long rest, you're at the point where your vision has diminished so much that all perception checks based on vision will be made at disadvantage. If this continues to persist, the rot will set in and blind you entirely.
Yeah, we need to like.
Mahogany, can you do anything about this?
Yeah, I was going to go see
what's
Mahogany
going on?
to see if he can like. I don't know if I'm cursed or diseased.
I think we're going blind.
Well,
I could use a bit of restoration here.
Okay.
I'm going to wave my hand in front of his face. You see this? Because I'm starting to not be able to.
Hold on.
well,
I
let's
slap
start
him
with
and
me.
cast
Hold on.
Lesser
Time out. Wait. I'm wondering if this is a curse.
Well, we'll find out. I cast Lesser Restoration
On who?
on Serenity because she's holding her hand in front of my face.
And Serenity's vision comes back.
All right, so you're either blinded.
Well,
Or
okay.
your
I mean, we'll have to
disease.
see if it comes back tomorrow.
Well, it ends a disease, so don't worry.
Kelian will also use his racial ability, Lesser Restoration.
On who?
On
Riot or
Riot.
Liberation?
Right.
Put it on Riot.
Okay, and Riot's vision also comes back.
I'm going to expend 4 key points. Remove curse.
And doesn't work.
Damn. Oh well.
It's just
Don't worry, dog. I got it. And I Lesser Restoration the last person.
Alright, and your vision does not diminish further at that point.
Hooray.
So, here's the
Is your
next
vision
question.
still bad?
No, vision's fine.
Okay.
It's just, they would have gone blind, but it was a disease. It was zombie bites. So,
Yeah.
freeing people from this tower is going to be a massive undertaking. The safest way to get them out seems to be using knock spells, and that's a lot of magic over a long period of time. This is going to be my question is, how much effort are you guys putting into this? This is going to require amassing resources, probably a concentrated effort amongst a lot of different factions to get this done.
well, Kelian's already stated his opinion on the matter, but considering he was just brought back from the dead, he's not going to say anything.
Okay, so Kelian's staying moot on the issue. What's Riot's take on saving the people from this tower?
Riot doesn't have a lot of influence with factions that would care about this.
Mhm.
You know, like she's got influence with her personal anarchist cell, but that's it. She is going to call on instead Ariella's group
Okay.
and let them know that there's this problem that I don't have the resources to do anything about, but I thought maybe you might have more contacts that would be interested in doing something about this.
Okay.
And I
So
can just cast Ascending.
what about Liberation?
I could. I want to help these people if they can be saved, then I want to help them. And so, what I'm thinking is, see if there's anybody within the Godsman who can get these people free.
Okay. What's Serenity's idea? How much?
I mean, Serenity is already at the gymnasium trying to convince people among her faction that this is something worth doing, and she's also trying to, in addition to finding some low-level wizards or sorcerers or whatever, I don't know if sorcerers can cast knock. Trying to find someone who she would trust to know when the time is right to actually destroy the goddamn tower.
Sorcerers can cast knock.
And what's Mahogany's take on it? How much is Mahogany going in on this endeavor?
Serenity's dealing with the cipher aspect of it.
Mhm.
So I'm going to go talk to go recruit rather. I don't really need to talk to them. They do what I fucking tell them. My guild to get some low level wizards to cast knock on some doors.
Okay.
And then I'm also going to go talk to the Bleakers because I do think that's a good idea. I think these people need to be taken care of after they're out of the tower.
Okay. Riot, go ahead and roll your influence with Ariola's group.
Okay.
Serenity, roll yours with the ciphers. Liberation, roll yours with the Godsmen. And tell me what those numbers are.
I got an 11 on mine.
11?
I got a 12.
Serenity got an 18.
I didn't give you influence with your own little group, did I? With your Adventurers Guild. I don't have it on my list here.
I don't think so.
We should probably add that. What was the name of it?
Serendipity.
Serendipity. Alright, I will give you the same rating as I gave Kelian with Locksmith. That's 18. So go ahead and make that influence roll.
Okay. That's 19. No, 20.
20. Okay. Last question is, what kind of monetary resources do you put into this? As far as, say, hiring wizards to go in or to make scrolls of knock, to purchase or create tools to dismantle parts of the tower, like a dollar value, how much are each of you investing?
I'll give. That's 1,000 gold.
1,000? Okay.
Yep.
Riot's going to give everything she has, which is 19 gold.
19 gold. Mahogany?
Yeah, I'll give 100 gold.
100. Liberation?
That's all I got.
50 plat.
50 plat.
Yeah, which is 500 gold.
Keelan, you're still staying out of it?
Yeah, but he will give Liberation 990 gold as payment.
Okay.
Whoa!
Do you pocket that gold, or are we putting that on top of your 500?
I'll put 500 more on top of that.
All right. And so here's how it shakes down. Appealing to the Bleakers. I mean, they're not excited to take on all these poor souls, but they will offer some assistance to go in and help.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing
I don't want
starts
them to be excited.
the thing starts growing kind of out of control. There becomes like a concentrated humanitarian effort amongst various factions in Sigil. The Godsmen and the Ciphers are both very gung-ho about this. And so high-ups in both of these factions tap contacts in other factions, who tap contacts elsewhere throughout the plains. The story that this kind of thing happened on the staircase and not in the middle of the abyss. And it also comes out that most of the prisoners were from prime material worlds. The staircase has a stronger connection to areas of the prime than areas on the plains.
And suddenly no one cares anymore.
Exactly the opposite. And so the reason a lot of these factions care is because this atrocity is so big and went unnoticed because of where it happened and how quickly it happened. If this had happened on the Abyss, nobody would have cared. But so, I mean, within a day, it's on everyone's lips in Sigil about this tower. And there's rumors flying around and lots of different stories. The Ciphers, the Godsmen, the Harmonium, the Governors, the Sensates, the Signers, the Bleakers, a lot of Indepts, and of course Anarchists invested in all of those factions, all get primarily involved. And this undertaking takes weeks. Now I have to do some actual calculations. So go ahead and talk amongst yourselves for about 1 minute.
Sure.
I mean, damn, this is like the first time that like such a big like union
No, this
factions.
is the most money we've ever spent to try and do something.
My 100 gold is honestly probably going to paying the people who are in my guild, unless they're turning down their pay. 'Cause I can't make them work for free.
I don't know. You got a 20-something on that roll.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, like this is like the first time that something like this has brought a whole lot of factions together, at least in recent memory, right?
It's the first thing that you've seen recently in the past year or so. It does seem to have a unifying effect on a lot of different factions. Some factions don't give a toss. There are no Doomguard, no Dustmen.
Yeah.
Very
Mahogany
few
is
faded.
doing his part as they're working together
Mhm.
to try to get the factions working together.
Okay. And better ciphers than you are already on that task, but I appreciate the initiative. Well done, sir. In the end, you were able to rescue 411 souls.
Wow.
Get them out uninjured, unhurt, and relatively sane after the various restorations and treatments are taking. Some of these people are consigned to the gatehouse as irretrievable. Some of them, a lot of governors and signers especially, start to work finding doors back to the worlds they came from, getting people home. And these 400 souls become kind of a point of pride for a lot of factions in Sigil over the course of the next few weeks. And everybody knows your names now.
Something about it didn't put in a lot of money here.
Yeah, which of Riot's names do they know? Because she
That's the
went in as
next.
a...
Which of Riot's persona? Because she's got to do something to manipulate what people know her as now. You're not just a face in the crowd anymore.
So
Osprey saved 400 souls.
Yeah, no, and that's the angle that she would take. Is she would try and play this up as, you know, she'd offer the temple up to as temporary housing for people who are awaiting relocation back.
Okay.
And she would take as much credit as she could under the name Kelian, Priestess of Osprey.
So you're using your real name to hide your fake name.
Right.
I love it.
Well, that's the question. And actually, I want to bring that up.
Mm-hmm.
Which name is Riot's real name? Like,
You don't have
when
to
she
answer that.
thinks of who
Yeah.
she is...
Oh, right,
Like-
absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, Kelian,
that's what I
Kelian's
assumed.
Kelian is her birth name, but everybody she knows and trusts and likes calls her Riot.
There's a scene.
That's what I'd always assumed is Riot, because Riot's her real name.
That's what I assumed too, which is why when Mahogany, when we were going to Mechanist to the Gate Town, when she wrote down Kelian, Mahogany thought she was lying.
I'm reminded of that scene in Kill Bill where he's describing the difference between Superman and Batman. It's like when Batman wakes up, he's Bruce Wayne. I'm like, no, motherfucker, you don't know anything about Batman. When Bruce Wayne wakes up, he's Batman. So, here's some immediate rewards for your fame. Mahogany and Serenity increase your influence with your faction by 1. Liberation,
what?
increase influence with your faction by 1.
Well, you're cutting off
You're
on
cutting
the,
out
on
when
the
you
number.
That
Yeah.
puts
Yeah.
Mahogany at 15, Serenity at 16, Liberation at 16.
Okay.
Mahogany, raise your influence with Serendipity to 19.
Whew.
Locksmith didn't do anything to help. Serenity,
They knew where the
increase
town
your
was.
influence with the Indepts
Mhm.
to 13. And everybody increase your secret influence by 2. That puts Kelian at 18, Liberation at 16, Mahogany at 16, Riot at 18, and Serenity at 16.
Is the Bride Tomei Index?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
The ones that work closely with
Yep.
Dwat's people from time to time. Riot. Osprey is becoming very popular. To the point where it's becoming difficult to tell who is a legit follower who is here to learn the ways of Osprey and who is just an opportunist looking for an angle.
Yeah. Those both suit Riot about equally well.
All right. We're going to say that this whole endeavor takes 1 week of game time.
During that time, can I process a level up?
Sure, absolutely. If you need to level up,
Okay.
go ahead and do that.
Oh yeah, you know, I need to figure out
You
which
just
spell to
flex while working, and suddenly work twice as hard.
Yeah.
So after the 400 something people are out, what's the ultimate fate of the tower? Because Serenity is pretty hell bent on.
Oh yeah, we can just dump
Oh, yeah.
this bitch into the infinite abyss.
Yeah.
Is this something that you guys try to organize once you see this?
Again,
taking-
I specifically was looking for a high up cipher. It would know that when
infinite
the time
staircase is
right,
made of stone, right?
It's time to destroy it.
It's made of all
After they've
different
done
kinds
all
of
the
materials
humanitarian
depending on
work
the
they
landing.
could.
I'm gonna go ahead and, because it's the most fun thing, say that let's hope that this part is made out of stone, and that when it's done, like, we're just gonna meld that stone into shit and dump this bitch out into the void.
And there are, the crowd that is formed both around the tower in Sigil and people who have gone through the portal to watch. It's a moment of celebration when this evil tower is severed. There is no small amount of Beatisu onlookers who are taking part in this celebration. A lot of devils are very, very pleased with what you've done.
Mahogany's okay with that.
I hear they make a great drink.
Yeah, during the course of it, Mahogany and that Beatisu bartender just lock eyes, and he's just like, keep going, this is fine.
What do you guys do with the map?
We should consult it again.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we should actually study it.
Where are you consulting it?
I'd say
Rattle.
Rat hole.
The rat hole.
Yeah.
So the map is depicting a large swath of landscape that you identify pretty quickly as Arborea. And it's just this very idyllic looking countryside with rolling hills and lush forests and a great river and little settlements, little villages all around. The entire time you're studying this map, you're hearing this man speak, and he knows where your eyes are focusing. You look at one of the forests, and he says, the forest where we bagged the great boar whose head is now stuffed and on my wall. And we turn over, the mountains where the dwarves make the most excellent ale you've ever put
What
to your
happens
lips.
when Mahogany looks at a different part that everyone else is looking at?
He's only speaking to Liberation. Everybody can hear him speaking, but he's following Liberation's eyes on the map.
Okay.
How long are we studying this map before it repeats, if it does repeat?
Not very long.
Okay.
It's
I
very
still
clearly
have
a bunch of recorded messages.
I still have some wax and some earplugs from Pandemonium. If you
Oh yeah.
they're in the rat hole.
Okay, so you have this
That's
map of somewhere in Arborea.
And at least a couple times, when no one's paying attention, Mahogany rolls it up and then unrolls it again so the trumpets blare. He's basically Jack in the boxing this thing.
Every time Serenity's about to drift off to sleep, Mahogany comes up behind with a map.
Just unfrozen.
What is done with the Flesh Ruiner wand?
that's the other one. Yeah.
I know
think
of a
the
church
Temple
that
of
can.
Bahamut is an actual
Yep.
good idea.
That was Kelian's thinking too.
That's the solutions god.
The solutions god likes these things.
So
Hey,
you're
we brought you some shit.
take
Riot signs off on this. There's solutions that they could have come up with that Riot said, let's not do that. But giving the Bahamut is okay.
And
We
Kelian's
all
okay
gain
with giving away
influence.
this treasure.
We all gain influence with Bahamut.
Yeah, this is a pretty evil thing that does incredibly evil things.
Yeah,
Okay.
we don't want this.
Yeah. No,
I mean,
this is
the
not.
only,
a thing.
this is-
the only other option in
like-
Serenity's mind is to try and figure out how to destroy it. And
Like-
if they decide it's not their problem and they can give it to Bahamut, she's pretty okay with that.
Like, you saw how obsessive Kelian was with the box, trying to keep it away from everyone. He doesn't even want to deal with it. Like, nah, This one's on that Platinum Dragon guy.
What do you tell the Temple of Bahamut this wand is?
Wand of the Flesh Ruiner.
And you consider this artifact to be a great danger that needs to be shuttered away.
Yes.
Destroy
Yes.
it, preferably.
Yeah, we've seen the damage this thing can do, not just to other people but to the wielder.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen that tower that we took down on the instrument staircase. Big
While
old
we have this
ceremony.
conversation, Mahogany's holding the rod out at arm's length.
Probably don't touch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't touch it.
They take great efforts to safely contain the wand, and you're thanked for your generous gift, and you are given all assurances that the Platinum Dragon will look over this artifact and make sure that it does not fall into the wrong hands.
Good.
We just gave
We'll
Roland
come back to you
Darkwood
with all of our
the
evil
burner.
artifacts. Don't worry. You are our first stop with evil artifacts that need to be held away from bad folk. Mahogany was having this conversation in Draconic, because of course he was.
Okay. So let's go ahead and get some Sigil downtime in. Because I know
Right.
all of you have stuff you want to do now.
Let me say, Brick,
Yeah.
before we get into, like, as part of single downtime, I know that we were talking about dealing with Henra being one of the things that Riot has to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I spent my banana on.
Okay.
Henra's gone.
Okay.
And
Henra?
yeah, like she overplayed her hand last time as far as Riot is concerned. And right, like, had the talks was like, listen, like, I thought we had a good thing going, but then you made all these ridiculous demands and unbalanced the relationship, and I've taken steps, and she shows the new deed without Henra's name on it to make sure I just don't need you anymore.
So what
So,
was the effect of the
Get
ban?
packing. Henra is gone. And Riot has taken over a small portion, maybe, of Henra's old parishioners, who were just like, they were interested in following a sea god. They don't really care that it was Jeklios.
Okay. Now, when you say gone,
We put her in
Mhm.
the
you
solution.
mean
today.
cement blocks dropped off a bridge?
I mean, she's gone back to a more amenable plane somewhere.
She's just okay. Who do you select to put in charge of this temple? I'll give you very wide leeway to make this decision because you're spending a banana here.
Oh, because what?
Because of the banana.
Okay.
You can just invent something to solve this problem once and for all with a banana level change.
Yeah. It can't be one of my anarchists because that's the whole problem over again.
I can delete this.
I'll think of somebody by the end of the session.
Okay.
I can delete this slashing and piercing damage count now.
Yes. Yeah. That only really pertained in the lower floors of the tower. Once you got up to the egg layer, you were pretty much done with that.
Yeah.
And also, I'm assuming it's healed.
So let's start with some morning actions here. This is, it's taken about a week. It's now the 23rd of Galia, the last month of the year. You've got about 2 weeks until the end of the year is Dabustan.
Didn't we have some kind of deadline before Dagestan?
Riot has masks that are being made and sanctified.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So I'll get working on that.
Can I, real quick, ask a out-of-character question? How much time do we have, roughly? Because I don't want to write myself out of this campaign by leaving Sigil, but I also want to leave Sigil.
Where do you want to go?
I want to go take a pilgrimage to atone for my actions by going to the Outlands to visit my god.
Now, when you say
Oh, I see.
atone for your actions, do you,
He means
He's
sending the
he was
stakes
real
down.
pissed about the snake thing,
yeah,
and I get it.
okay.
So I'm gonna be like, yeah, the snake thing won't happen again. Won't put them in clearly deadly situations without asking them first.
So you asked
Well,
them
I
the
thought-
snake.
I feel like there's
Maybe.
a difference between putting them in deadly situations, which you do all the time, and literally summoning them so that you can kill them.
Right, that's what he's saying.
Okay.
I'm clearly gonna use them in battle because that's what they're for.
Right. Yeah. But I'm saying don't go promising you're not going to put them in deadly situations, because you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, let's be real here. There's no way you're not continuing to use snakes offline.
Yeah.
Right. Oh my god.
We got it.
Oh
yeah, you
my
went there.
god.
Hey!
Destil.
So, Riot, what are you doing on the 23rd?
Okay, on 23rd. I should probably get to sanctifying some of these masks again.
Okay. At the end of this session, we will call the mass thing
Yeah,
Can't.
but I figure I should at least devote one morning to that.
Sure. Kelian, what are you up to on the 23rd?
I'm still working out what I want Kelian to do, but in the short term, he's going to pay a visit to the Great Bazaar with the explicit purpose of finding some +2 cigarettes.
You're gonna pick yourself up a filthy habit.
What
Yes.
is the chance that he's going to get into like a jam-flavored vape?
That's not the question we need to ask, because we know that's going to happen. What we need to know is how much money does he have to make a sick rig?
Oh, we'll get there. Don't worry. We'll get there. What's Liberation doing?
Oh my god, I totally just lost my train of thought at jam flavored vape. I come back to me, please.
All right, but there's only one other person. It's Serenity. What's Serenity doing on the 23rd?
I'm gonna check in with Dwarf to start, see how his group's doing.
Okay.
All right.
So, Liberation, what's up?
What's up is I'm gonna head to the soup kitchen.
So, Kelian, how much money are you looking to invest? Like, what are you... Okay, where do I go with this? What are you looking to try to buy? Just like
He just wants to start smoking.
So, but like, what does he want to smoke? I mean, do you want to learn to like roll, or do you want like something hallucinogenic? Are you looking to buy a pipe? Like, where are you going with this?
Like, I just made my decision off camera.
Get a real long, real cool cigarette holder.
like real classy, like.
Yeah.
I figure he's got to start small first, so I'm thinking cigarettes.
So start out with the Swisher Sweets, work your way up.
Yeah. And then from there, you can start buying hookahs, and then, oh, how do I make a hookah? Oh, I gotta go
So
build a hookah.
Carve you a hookah, no
Yeah.
problem.
this is Sigil, and you're going to the biggest marketplace in the City of Doors.
Mm-hmm.
How much are you looking to spend on your first hit?
Oh, you're gonna buy some raw shit.
Because I mean, you can go from a couple of coppers all the way up to
What?
the
Have
real
you met
shiny
Kelian? What? Few coppers. No, he's gonna... We'll start with 10 gold.
10 gold. And are you looking to buy something just satisfying, something flavorful? Or
Satisfying and flavorful.
Are you looking for something hallucinogenic?
Not yet.
Mind-altering? Not there yet.
Not there yet.
Do you want some dark shit? You want to smoke the soul of a tiefling?
You find an Barbarian smoke shop, and investing
Give
10
Kelian a
gold
few
in
more
the
deaths.
smoke shop. There's this squat little satyr running the smoke shop, and he's dancing around the place, showing you all his different pipes and implements. And so you set yourself up with the cigarette holder
Okay.
and a cigarette case,
All right.
and fill it up with enough tobacco to roll 20 joints. And it's rich and flavorful, and he gives you a whole sampler's pack with different kinds of feels to it.
Okay, I'm making it a special thing on my character sheet.
Yeah, I'm sure you
next
are.
Next to crossbow bolt case, I'm putting cigarette case.
And he teaches you how to hold the smoke in and get the most of the flavors. He marvels at your angelic constitution as your, he lays all kinds of compliments on you, how suave you look holding the cigarette. Remember, viewers, don't engage in the cool crime of smoking.
Wow, Perkroyd actually took the initiative for a Futurama reference.
Dan
That's
doesn't
good.
play. Somebody's got to do it.
Yeah. Well, no, it's usually me, and
Right.
usually you get mad at me when I do that.
So you're set up with your cigarillos there.
Excellent.
Liberation.
Hey.
Father Mondo relates to you a visitor that came to the soup kitchen recently
Oh.
that originally he thought represented the Bleakers. He asked if he was a member of the Bleak Cabal and got a very wishy-washy answer. What he wanted was to set up a work program so people who come to the soup kitchen could volunteer for work and get payment out of it. And
Okay.
Father Mondo turned him away because he didn't like the way the negotiation went. There was something wrong with this guy. Was it something he said or something he did? It was just seemed very sketchy to him. And he managed to turn this man away before he came into contact with any of the people in the kitchen.
Okay, that sends off a couple of alarm bells in my head. So, did you get a name? Did you get a description?
He gives you a name, but he tells you it's most likely a false name. It's like Frank Testaberger or something.
Nice. It's a great name.
He commends you on the work done with the 400 souls.
It's what I'm here for. It's what I exist for, helping people like that.
And he asks if, like, the stories, the descriptions he's heard of this place are accurate, because he's heard some pretty awful things.
It's really atrocious. It's stuff that I don't want to repeat here.
And he doesn't push the subject any further than that.
But
he has a great.
Please, just trust me when I say it was not a good time.
He tells you he has a great admiration for the sorts that go out into those places on the plains, and brings with them a spark of light, some semblance of good to a place where there isn't any.
I'm just glad I was in the right place at the right time. But yeah, did he give any kind of description on who this fellow was?
He did, but it's his opinion that it wasn't his true description. He was using some kind of illusion.
Disguise. Okay.
Right.
All right.
He felt it was a very false meeting.